Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, and today we have another projection in the 2020 presidential race. So I'm sure many of you guys have known that Georgia and North Carolina have yet to be called on the presidential level and on the Senate level. But now, according to the Decision Desk HQ, which actually called the election hours before the major news networks did, very reputable, gets the results very quickly, has now reported that the state of North Carolina will be won by President Trump. Not only does the Republican Party win the state of North Carolina on the presidential level, but also on the Senate level. This now adds to the Democratic Party's disadvantage. They were going in already below the vote total in the state of North Carolina, expecting to win that state on the Senate level, but it ended up going to the Republican Party. And now Thom Tillis is officially the winner, elected to another 6-year term over Cal Cunningham in the state of North Carolina. This state goes to the GOP. So this puts the Republicans at 49 Senate seats. This puts Donald Trump on the presidential level at 229. Now, if you're looking at this map, you may be surprised to see that Arizona and Alaska have not been called. I'm going to be applying this electoral map that we're looking at right now, which is the current electoral map according to a combined Associated Press and Decision Desk HQ, just because the Associated Press does not make calls in states that are in automatic recount territory, so that's why Georgia has yet to be projected. Alaska still has roughly 50% of their outstanding vote, but in North Carolina, while AP has not called it, Decision Desk HQ has it, which means that the news networks are likely to follow suit. So with this call in North Carolina, this actually puts Donald Trump at 229 electoral votes. If you give him Alaska, which it's a 99% chance that he wins that, Donald Trump wins the state of Alaska, which puts him at 232. If that number rings a bell, it should, because that is the number that Hillary Clinton won in terms of electoral votes in 2016. So Joe Biden's at 306, Donald Trump's at 232. Very coincidental. And when you're looking at the state of Georgia, right now it's a lean Democrat characterization because it has not been projected for Joe Biden, but he is the expected winner in this state. If you're looking at the results here right now, Joe Biden has now expanded his lead in the state of Georgia, expanded it today to 14,000 votes. 14,000 votes in this state with roughly 5 million cast. That's insane. 14,000 votes. That's a very strong lead for the former vice president. So he's doing very well in Georgia. He's already the projected winner in all of the other states that are blue on your screen. So I think that this is a done deal. The election is wrapping up. And with this call in North Carolina, yes, we all expected it to go to Donald Trump, but now it is official. And the next thing, like I said, we were talking about the Senate that's official, is now we are down to the 2 Senate races in Georgia truly making a difference. While Alaska has not been called because, like I said, 50% of their precincts have yet to report, or 50% of their vote, their precincts have reported, but they do have outstanding vote, a very significant portion of it. In Georgia, in both runoff elections, we are going to see these 2 Senate races ultimately determine the balance of power in the Senate. The House of Representatives looks like it's going to the Democratic Party. All the major networks have projected that the Democrats will retain control, but the Republican Party is doing better. They are expected to gain possibly 10 seats overall in the United States House of Representatives, which would bring the Democrats down to 222. That is not a good look when they are supposed to gain seats. This is the first time the Democratic Party has not gained seats in a presidential election, I think, since 2000 began. So that is not good news for the Democratic Party, but winning the majority isn't exactly the worst position they could have been in. Looking at the Senate, 1 pickup for the Democrats, but what they're really looking for is 3 pickups. Why? Because Joe Biden has won the presidency. Kamala Harris could break a tie in the event that the Senate ends up in a 50-50 scenario. And this was really not too heavy in discussion. 538 and a number of other pundits had the Senate going to the Democrats. The question was by how much. But now the question is, can the Democrats even win the United States Senate? I was wrong in my prediction. I had the Democrats winning back the Senate above 50 seats. While it's possible they win the Senate majority, I did not expect Thom Tillis to win in the state of North Carolina, nor did I expect Sarah Gideon to lose in the state of Maine. So when you're looking at those 2 Senate races, I was off there, but the rest of the races were predicted correctly. However, I could be disproven again. I characterized Georgia's regular election as red and Georgia's Senate special election as blue. We could end up with 2 blue or 2 red by the end of this, not really the end of this year, by January 5th, 2021. But overall, I mean, these 2 Senate races will single-handedly decide who is in Senate control, and I think that is going to bring tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars into both Senate races. Now, it'd be shocking if both Senate races had individually this amount of money poured into them, but I wouldn't be surprised. The Democratic Party is focusing a lot of money, and the GOP focusing a lot of money, because this could determine whether or not the Democrats pack the courts, add 2 new states to the United States, D.C., Puerto Rico, or whether or not the Republican Party is able to block any and everything from a Biden administration, block all of his administration issues. I mean, so many things. We're probably going to see President Biden quickly get the nickname President Executive Order Biden. I think that's going to be something that we are going to see as soon as he's entered into office. However, I mean, he's working in a Congress that's or a Senate that probably won't be in his favor, and the president has that power for a reason. So, 2 runoff elections. A lot is going to be focused on here. Let's see how Georgia actually fared in the elections here. So I'm not going to sign in again if you don't save my data. I've been logging in so many times, but I can't log in front of you guys because I would have to type my password out. But looking in the Georgia, we don't really need to focus on the runoff election or the Senate special election, just because there isn't really that much to take a look at when you're talking about that race. Raphael Warnock got 32% of the vote. Kelly Loeffler was the second place candidate. There was just so much vote splitting, so many different parties on the ballot. So now we're actually headed to a runoff in both Georgia Senate Special and Georgia Regular. But David Perdue did better than Donald Trump. But the point is that Jon Ossoff did significantly worse than Joe Biden. You see, Georgia is still inherently a Republican state. As much as the Democratic Party has made inroads and absolutely will be competitive, possibly the favorites in 2024 in this state still holds a pretty conservative identity. The Republican Party here has a grip, whether it's David Perdue, whether it's another Perdue, whether it's Brian Kemp. When you're looking at this state, yes, it does show the tides that it could very well be a Democratic state in the future or even this election. But David Perdue and a number of other Republicans with name recognition are still going to win statewide races. And David Perdue, while only narrowly outperforming Trump, Jon Ossoff, who isn't too well known, significantly underperformed Joe Biden. Jon Ossoff received, I think, nearly 100,000 votes less than Joe Biden in this race. David Perdue received, I think, 1,000 more than Donald Trump. So looking at the results, Jon Ossoff got very, very lucky that this is going to a runoff, but these Libertarian Party voters probably are going to end up voting for the GOP candidate. It's a turnout game at this point. The reason why Georgia went blue on the presidential level is because Republicans turned away from Donald Trump in this state. Suburban voters, which are fine with Republicans on the congressional level, are not fine with Donald Trump on the presidential level and are actually voting for Joe Biden. But the problem was we saw a lot of ticket splitting. Notably here, Maine. I mean, Maine was horrible for the Democrats. In a state that Joe Biden won by 10 points, the Republican Senate nominee won by 9. That's a lot of ticket splitting. That is a lot of ticket splitting. And when you're looking in Georgia, Jon Ossoff significantly underperformed, and Democrats in the Senate special election significantly underperformed Joe Biden because these Republican voters that may have voted for Biden, or independent voters that typically lean to the right, weren't so happy with Donald Trump and were okay with Joe Biden. But really, ultimately, when it came down to it, they were electing Republicans statewide and in congressional races. And I also think that ticket splitting was also very prevalent in a number of other states. New Hampshire, both legislative chambers there flipped to the Republican Party. That's not a good sign. Biden won there by 10 points. Flipped to the Republican Party. In Nebraska's 2nd District, Don Bacon, the Republican House candidate, people thought he could lose. I knew he was going to win, but people thought that he could lose against Carrie Eastman. However, Joe Biden won Nebraska 2nd by double digits. By double digits. That is the largest margin of victory there, I think, since 2004. That is double digits for Joe Biden. Go ahead and check out the results there. Very interesting. But Don Bacon, the Republican, ended up winning in the same district that voted for Joe Biden by double digits. So, again, a lot of ticket splitting across the country. We see it here in Georgia. It may not be as extreme, but it's not benefiting the Democratic Party when it's even considered at all. So nearly 5 million votes cast, and Jon Ossoff just got 47.96% of them. He's headed into a runoff election. He probably won't win, to be completely honest with you. David Perdue is very well known, and he isn't disliked as much as Trump, but his inability to accept the election results, I think it actually hurt him on election day, because some of these voters who, may have voted for David Perdue the first time, absolutely, may have said, you're not accepting the person that I elected into office. Why would I vote for you this time? And obviously, that's a slim majority of the voters, or plurality of the voters, considering that both Biden and Trump are under 50%. But it's still a variable that you have to consider. So, all eyes on Georgia. Now more than ever, North Carolina has officially been called by the Decision Desk HQ. Senate control comes down to Georgia, and the presidency, whether or not we see a repeat of 2016, comes down to Georgia as well. All eyes on Georgia. A lot of money going to be spent here, and rightfully so. And the Democratic Party has Stacey Abrams to thank if they end up winning the Senate majority, or even without it. I mean, she flipped the state on the presidential level. Obviously not her single-handedly, but her efforts combined with a number of other Democratic candidates and Democratic organizers, specifically African-American organizers in this state, really turned the tides. Not only here, but also enough so that there are 2 runoff elections in Georgia, so the Democrats have a second chance at the majority. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below. Subscribe on the left if you haven't already, and check out the Instagram and Twitter. At the bottom left of the screen, there's also a Discord server for you to go ahead and join. On the screen, there's a video you can watch, and then a playlist for my 2020 post-election videos. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.